So at the start of every year, a lot of people decide to venture out and start their new business. And one of the big things about having new businesses is that there's so many different priorities and tasks that you've got to juggle. But one of the key things is making sure that you've got clients coming in through the door. Getting clients is often one of the most daunting things for new businesses and new business owners. And so in this video, I wanted to break down some tips and techniques in how to land your first paying client. Specifically, I'll take you through how to go through the process of trying to identify the people that will become your first paying clients, as well as talk through some techniques in how to get them across the line. Without further ado, let's get into it. So the most important thing to know about landing clients is that people buy from people they trust. What this means for you as a new business is that more often than not, you will have to look inside your own network to try and find people who already know and trust you. So this could be family members, this could be friends, this could be people that you've worked with previously across different jobs or different businesses. A lot of these people will already be familiar with you and your quality of work, and so getting them across the line should be relatively straightforward. The bigger challenge is obviously what happens when you don't have a network, and again, there are a few ways that you can overcome this. So one is to actually leverage off other people's networks. So are there friends or family members or previous co-workers who can introduce you to the right type of businesses? Or you can do what I did, which was build your own network. You see, even before I started Playbook Media, I built up a network through my podcast. And the way that I actually got my first guest, and the reason why I actually started this business, was that I had one of the listeners of the show reach out to me. From that message, we started talking, and from there he told me that he and his partner were looking to start a new business and needed marketing help. And they actually went on to become my first clients for Playbook Media. So even though I didn't have a business at that time, I had a network of people that knew and trusted me through the podcast and through consistently putting things out. They felt like they already knew me. And so the pathway for them to trust me and to actually buy from me was much shorter than if there was no relationship at all. So podcasting definitely worked for me in terms of building up my credibility in the space, but some of the other ways that you might be able to do this would be through your own speaking opportunities at conferences and industry talks, or launching your own meetup group. So once you're in front of the people that you actually want to sell to, the question becomes, how do you actually get them across the line? And one of the biggest challenges for new businesses is that you don't have the clout, the credibility, or the branding in the space to compete against the larger players in the field. But thankfully, there's a couple of techniques that you can use to help remove some of the barriers that people might have when it comes to buying from a new business. A lot of services businesses especially try and get clients in for a long term, but it can be difficult for a client who hasn't worked with you previously or doesn't have a whole heap of a track record to go off to trust you for an extended period of time. And so one of the easiest ways to get people across the line initially is to get them to sign up for a trial project, which could be a month or 3 months, set particular KPIs. So instead of them signing up for an extended period, they're just signing up for a small period to see how it goes. Another big barrier for a lot of businesses is, will this person actually deliver the results that I'm after, or will they run away with the money? And so one of the things that you can put into a contract is to actually offer a refund if you don't hit particular KPIs. And so this will put a lot of people at ease that even though they might be giving money up front, they're not really losing out on taking the risk with someone who's new. Another way of overcoming the financial hurdle is to actually get paid on performance, which means that you would set particular KPIs with your client, and only when you hit them do you actually get paid for your services. And there's many more techniques. I think what it really comes down to is making an irresistible offer to your potential client to make sure that you remove all of the barriers and all of the risks for them to want to try and work with you. And then hopefully once you can demonstrate that you can get great results for them, they'll want to grow with you. You can utilize them as case studies to help you get more clients. So to demonstrate some of this in action, I'm actually going to take you through to meet with one of our clients for Playbook Media. All right, so let's go meet Drew.
20 minutes later.
Okay, I'm here at the hub on Collins Street in the CBD to meet with a friend and a client, Drew Corby, to talk about what it's like from the other side of the table. All right, I'm here with Drew, who's one of our clients at Playbook Media, and he also happens to be a good friend of mine.
Yes.
So Drew, we first met when you invited me onto your podcast.
Yep.
And we'd never really spoken before that.
No, in my head, I've never told you a story. In my head, I thought I'd met you at a hackathon.
Maybe.
But I don't think I did. But in my head, I thought I did.
Yeah.
And then I went, oh, that's why I was so bold. It's like, hey, we met before, you should come on my podcast.
Well, thanks for inviting me. It was a great podcast interview anyway.
Yeah, just by pure chance.
Yeah, and then we kind of kept in touch ever since. We kind of realized that we had a lot of kind of similar interests in terms of like entrepreneurship and startups and obviously podcasting.
That is correct.
In general.
Yes. Yep.
And now we work together.
Yes.
As well.
We do. Yes.
So I guess like essentially recording a video today on how to get your first paying client.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk a little bit from, I guess, the client side of things? What is it that you were looking for, and I guess why we sort of are working together?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big challenge is most entrepreneurs tend to start in services. And what they don't realize is that your average client is weighing up, why should I give you money? Could I just read a book and do that myself? And a lot of it's to do with trust. So do I trust to give you this money and you're going to return value to me without me having to follow you so closely that I just might as well do it myself? With us, we have given you the huge responsibility of taking our whole business to market, right? And we're trusting that you're going to be able to do that better than we can do it with both time and knowledge. And we're a fast-growing scale-up, so if we don't hit that mark, it might impact our cash flow, which is pretty material for the business. So
absolutely no pressure at all.
No pressure at all. That's right. But we could have chosen a number of agencies with the budget that we had, but the difference is that it's kind of I knew, but working with you, that at the very least we were going to get someone really devoted to growing the business. Yeah, it was a good fit for that reason. So, yeah.
And you also have an awesome podcast as well.
We do. I do, yes. It's in hiatus, but yeah.
Pathways Podcast?
Pathways Podcast, yeah. It's you can check out Rohit, but sharing the stories of ordinary people facing large change in their lives. We call it the pivotal moments, or the Kung Fu Panda moment, when they realise what they need to change their life. So with Rohit, he talked through his decision to go from, which I think is part of this vlog, but to go from very well educated corporate engineer to start his own company, which is incredibly scary.
I had a degree. I wouldn't say I was very well educated in the engineering side of things.
Relative to the average person who hasn't got a degree, and what you have a degree in, you're probably well educated. That's right. Yeah. So I think, and that's where we met. I'm really interested in understanding what it takes for people to work for more than just the money, because the money no longer matters, really. So yeah.
Awesome. I'll make sure I link up the Pathways podcast and the interview with me in the show notes.
Definitely. Awesome. No worries. Anytime.
Cool. Thanks, Drew.
Great.
So hopefully there were some interesting takeaways for you from this video. If you used any of the techniques mentioned, or if you have any other suggestions on how to get your first paying client, leave them in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you at vlog number 3 tomorrow.